Good evening, everybody. I'm Kath Lloyd from Make the Change, and it's Wednesday evening, and it's Let's Talk. So this is the second season for 2018. Had a little break with holidays and getting over a cold, like I think most people are at the moment. But back on schedule, and we're going to be talking today about hold your hand up. So, why do I want to talk about this? Well, a lot of us support other people, whether that is through somebody being ill, through, perhaps it's end of life, or perhaps through a disability, or with looking after somebody else's young children, or it could be that you are giving extra support to somebody at work. Now, what is a very difficult one is through grief, because if it's somebody that you've been close to, you've got to manage your grief and support other people at the same time. So the whole process is very, very difficult. And, you're trying to support the other people as well as carry on your life as best as you can. Carry on with your work, carry on with keeping your house in order, trying to keep up with your friends, and also supporting the other people as well through the difficulties that they're having, and giving them the best opportunities that they can have. And unfortunately, it's hard work, but a lot of the time we feel that we should, hi there, nice to see you, Camelia. We feel that we should be managing, that we should be able to cope with this, because we're not the one with the disability, or we're not the one with the illness. Hi Pete, nice to see you. And so therefore that is why we feel that we should be managing. But we can't, because, well, it's not that we can't, but it becomes difficult because we've only got so much time in a day. We've only got so much resources. We've only got so much energy, and unfortunately, with all of this managing and coping, the anxiety kicks in, the stresses kick in. And that's when your immune system, starts to plummet, and that your emotions start to overflow. And all of the time we're saying to ourselves, no, we've got to keep going. We can't have a cold because we've got to look after these other people. And unfortunately, that only works for a little while. And but how do you know when you need to put your hand up and say, hey guys, I need a little bit of help here. I can't really manage as well as I thought I can anymore. And this is about understanding your body. It's about reading your body. And unfortunately, if this is the first time that you're going through this, you don't know what your body is telling you, because it's all new. But it's looking for the little signs that things aren't right, that your emotions are different, that your thought processes are different, that your behavior pattern is different, perhaps your sleeping pattern's different, or your eating pattern, or your health regime, your fitness regime, or perhaps it's about the aches and pains that you get. And I know as we get older, we get more aches and pains, but in times of anxiety and stress, they are going to be different. And, I hear people say, oh, well, I treat myself, I get my rest and relaxation, and I take myself off on holiday. And it's like, somebody said to me very recently, is that you go on holiday, and that is good because you have the time for resting and relaxing, giving yourself time, but in the background, niggling away, even though you're trying to keep a lid on it, the trauma or the pain or the little horror story that is at home is still there. And, you've got to come back to it. And so, yes, you've had your rest and relaxation, but sometimes the shock of having to come back can trigger. And the reason why I'm talking about it like this is that I've got stuff going on in my life, and I had to go and find some help from somebody, and it just so happened that I chose to go and see my practice nurse. And interestingly enough, at this sort of time last year, I was supporting her, and from going and helping her, she'd got the medical advice, and what they were asking her to do was to record and track her symptoms, and that was okay for a little bit. But what was concerning her was that she is a naturally positive person, but she was struggling with that positivity. And so where I supported her was, instead of, through the medical side of things, I was supporting her with using essential oils and asking her to look at the opposite side. So, what was happening, through managing well. So celebrate the little snippets of time that she was coping very well, that she felt a little bit better. And within a week, the looking at the positives counteracted looking at the negatives, and she felt a lot more positive about things. And so, looking at it from my side, on the opposite side, I've been doing everything that I talk about, using my oils, using my breathing, doing my best to get my rest and relaxation, having my fresh air, eating as healthily as I could, and, doing my gratitude and my mindfulness. But I knew I had got to a stage when I needed to put my hand up. Okay, because I knew that my body wasn't right. And what was happening to my body was similar to, what I'd had before when I needed time off with stress before, but it was a lot more dramatic. And within a day of coming back off my holiday, feeling great, having had a fantastic time, my husband and I having time for each other, and trying not to talk about, the different things that were going on at home. And so we came back off holiday on the Thursday. Through the Friday, my left hip was getting more and more painful, more and more stiff, more and more uncomfortable. And it got to the stage where, we were travelling up to Scotland, and we got to T-Bay services, and we were getting out the camper to give my dogs a little walk, and I was easing myself down out of the camper thinking, are my legs going to be able to hold me when I put my feet to the floor? And strangely enough, through the weekend, because I knew the situation was okay up in Scotland, I knew that things were fine, that pain eased off. But Monday morning, I woke up and I knew I needed to put my hand up and say, I need a little bit of help here. And luckily, I've got my practice nurse to go to. Luckily, there was a cancellation, so I was able to go and see her that morning. And she knows what's been going on in my life, and she opened the door and she didn't need to say anything. She knew why I was there. I think she'd perhaps been waiting for it for the last 8 months, waiting for me to turn up on her door, on her professional doorstep, and ask for help. And it's knowing who to go to, because sometimes you think, we say that's what our friends and our family are for. And yes, it's very true. They are there for our support network. But, sometimes we feel that we've already burdened them with talking about the situation and about how we feel. And, you don't want to burden them anymore. And sometimes you need to go and seek professional help to get it, just so that you can perhaps open up a little bit more honestly, and get a different slant on the idea. Because our friends are very good at supporting us and encouraging us and telling us that we're doing really, really well. But it's just like my nurse said to me, yes, you go off on holiday, you have a lovely time, but your little pocket of horror is still there when you get back. And it's then about how you manage it. All right. And, it's doing everything that we possibly can. And, it's not about saying, never take antidepressants. But it's, that's okay to do it as long as it is controlled. And the great thing about, holistic therapy, like breathing, like using essential oils, like mindfulness meditation, Reiki, and traditional exercise, they all work really, really well with, medical support. So, my nurse, when I was supporting her, had tried one way and it was helping to a certain extent, and I was able to top her up with something else. But, sometimes even if you're doing it all the holistic way, you need a little bit of extra support. Okay, so what I'm saying here is, just because you are the supporter, you shouldn't neglect your own health, your own needs, and seeking the support that you need so that you can think and feel as if you were in control instead of being out of control. And, this is where, if we feel we haven't got the support, it can get to the stage of, self-harm, destructive thoughts, and sometimes we just need to take a leap of faith within ourselves to ask for the help, because it is there. I know that when, feelings are very intense and you're very self-contained in your own feelings, that it can be difficult to see the support. But this is, what I want to talk about in the next few weeks is, how do you start to manage it? Manage that sort of self-destruction, so to speak. Because at the end of the day, if you're a supporter of other people, then you've got to be on top form so that you're there ready to help them. But it shouldn't be at the risk of your own health. So, I'm going to, I could go on a lot more about this, but I want to keep it sweet. I want to keep it short. But, what do you need to hold your hand up to? What do you need to be brave enough to say to get the help that you need to be able to manage better, more effectively, more efficiently, and feel as if you are still you. Because it can be very easy to get lost in supporting other people, you know, not seeing your friends, not doing your fitness, not having your you time, or have the time to be with your partner and lead a healthy life for you, as well as supporting somebody else. So if you want to put your hand up to something, then message me. That's okay. That's what I'm here for. You know, to help you go the next step once you've held your hand up. Okay, but you do have to trust yourself. You do have to trust your instincts and trust what your body is telling you, and not, you know, start saying to it, oh, you're just being silly. You know, because I've done that in the past, and it works for a bit, but then, you know, all of a sudden you'll crash, and it will come as a complete surprise to you, and at the most inconvenient time to you. And so this is why I want to talk about this, so that, you know, hopefully you can be a little bit more prepared, or that you notice it in somebody else, you know, because we all know somebody who's supporting somebody else, and you'll notice differences in them. You'll notice perhaps that they're not as you know, outgoing as they used to be, or as well kept as they were, or perhaps they're not messaging you as much as they used to. And you know, then, you know, you're supporting, the supporter is then supporting somebody else through the support that they're giving. And so it all works together. And if you are, hi Helen, and if you are able to notice it in somebody else, then you should be able to notice it in yourself as well. So hold your hand up, be brave, take that leap of faith, and don't be frightened to say, hi guys, I need a little bit of help here, because the support is there. You just need to try and pinpoint the right sort of support. And basically that is, you know, if you don't want to go to friends and family, that's what your doctor is there for. That is what your practice nurse is there for, to support you through thick and thin. So next week we're going to be talking about STOP, S-T-O-P. All right, because now it's how do you go the next step. All right, so please put your comments in the bottom, or if it's too personal or too hard for you, then send me a personal message and I will get back to you as soon as I can and support you the best way that I can. So have a lovely evening. Sorry that we're just finishing, Helen, all right, when you've not long come on. But thank you for being with me, and I'll speak to you next Wednesday at 8 o'clock about STOP. Have a great week. Bye-bye.